Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Turn in Videos. This is lecture 6 on C programming language. So today we'll discuss something about decimal precision. From now on, the printf statement syntax won't be repeated once again. If you need to know how the printf statement syntax is written, so please visit the previous video. The printf statement will be set directly from now on. Now, just look at this line of code. I'm assigning a variable called as my float num and the type of it is float. I'm assigning 3.5 value to it. Next, I'm assigning one more variable called as my double num and the data type associated with my double num is double. Now we have seen just float data type. Float can store point values. Double can store a large number of values after the decimal point. So if you have a large number of values after the decimal point, so you can use double keyword. For example, if you type 22 by 7 and if you calculate the value of pi, that is 22 by 7, and if you store that value, so 3.142 and it is gone. If you want the decimal point for a larger extent, so then we use double keyword. Now I'll be printing my float value, printf double quotes %f /n double quotes close, comma my float num. Next, I'm printing my double value, printf statement, double inverted comma open %lf. So for double we use lf comma my double num. Specify the variable that you need to display. If I run this code, this will be the output. We'll see now what is type conversion. If you try to divide the two integers, that is 5 by 2, you would expect the result to be 2.5. But if you assign the result value to an integer value, only 2 will be printed. Just check this code. I'm assigning a variable of type int for x and y and I'm storing 5 and 2 in it. Next, I'm calculating the sum as 5 by 2. Just note that the type of sum is integer type. That means it can hold only integer value. So as we all know, 5 divided by 2 turns out to be 2.5. But since we are printing it as an integer, so only 2 will be printed, 0.5 will be discarded. If I run this code, this will be the output. As you can clearly see from the output, only 2 has been printed. 0.5 has been discarded. There are two types of conversion in C. First one, implicit conversion, also called as automatic conversion. Next, explicit conversion, also called as manual conversion. Now, implicit conversion is done automatically by the compiler when you assign a value of one type to another. As you can see in the previous code, we had not defined that sum is of type float, but still from floating point value, it has been converted into integer type value. Let me show you one more example for this. Now I'm declaring a variable called as my float of type float and I'm assigning integer value that is 9 to it. Next, I'm going to print that my float value. Printf statement I'll write %f comma my float. If I run this code, so this will be the output. As you can see, the output is 9.00000. In real time, if you give output like this, it's not decent. To make this output as decent and in readable format, we'll specify the number of values that we want after the decimal point. Now, to do this, I'll write this line of a code. As you can see, printf double into comma open %.2f. Now, .2f will symbolize that after point value, I want 2 digits, comma, the variable name, that is my float. And if I run this, and you can see the difference between the previous line of code and the next line of code. I'm getting 9.00. Seeing a topic called as constants. So what are constants? Constant is a keyword if we apply to any one of the variable that symbolizes that the value of that variable cannot be changed. So that value remains unchanged till end of the program. And if you try to change that value, it will give an error to you. Let me show you one example of this. As you can see in the code, I'm typing constant, C-O-N-S-T, that is called as constant, short form of a constant, and specifying the data type, that is int space the name of the variable. So in this case, it is my num, and I'm assigning 15 to it. Now, in the course of program, if I try to change the value of this to any other value, as you can see, the next line of code states that my num equal to 10. That means I am reassigning the value of my num from 15 to 10. Now, if I run this, I'll get an error. The reason behind that is I have defined or I have declared the variable my num as constant, and I cannot change the value of constant in entire process of the program. So where do we use this constant? For example, in your program, if you don't want to change the name of the student, then you can declare that student name as constant. If you don't want to change his phone number, you can make that as constant. Let us see the next topic. Now, we are going to check a very important topic called as operators. Operators are used to perform operations on variables and values. We will see one example where we are using plus operator to add two values or two operands. First, I am declaring a variable called as mynum as a type integer, that is int mynum equal to 100 plus 100. I am using two values to add, that is 100 plus 50, and that added value, that is total 150, will be stored in mynum. So as you can see from this program or example, that plus is used for addition in this case. We'll see few more examples. So in the first case, I am writing sum1 as 100 plus 50. In second case, I am writing sum2 as sum1 plus 250. In third case, I am writing sum3 as sum2 plus sum2. Okay. So whatever value is added from first line of code, that is 100 plus 50, will be stored in sum1. Now, sum1 will be added with 250 for the second line of code and will be stored in sum2. And sum2 plus sum2, that is the value of sum2 plus sum2, will be added and stored it in sum3. So in the next video, we'll see detailed explanation on these operators, and we have a dedicated video on this. So that's it for today, guys. Let's meet in the next learning video. Till then, keep learning and keep growing.